It's working its way. There it goes. Are they all on? Testing? I got mine.
Nothing here.
Well, it's slow to go around. As you can see, do we need to hit to slow? Do you want to hit Peters? Does that maybe help it? Stop the chain?
Doesn't seem to have an effect.
There's
Do you want me to shut it off and start over again?
if that's the way it worked last time. Wayne's, I see Wayne's is lighting up.
Yeah, mine's lighting up, so.
This was the problem last.
I'll turn it off and start again. Just
Yours working, right?
yes.
I can't read that, but sometimes so there's a setting on there.
The volume was down on it quite a bit.
Trying to find out that.
Well, mine works, so then nothing else is working. This is
There we go.
There they go. There they go. It was
It
the,
worked.
Okay.
that plug was not in quite right on his. That's probably where it stopped the chain.
You're welcome. Wonderful.
We're good?
Thank you. We know to test that next time.
Yeah, mine doesn't. Well, there it goes.
Oh, there you go.
You just had to touch it, Steven.
I should just not talk. Save everybody some time.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Elmont Village Township Hall. We're going to call the regular meeting of the Elmont Village Council, June 2nd, 2026 to order. Please rise for pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Feldman, Glasser, Miller,
Here.
Schneider,
Present.
Powell,
Present.
Stoeffler,
Present.
Dyke.
Present. Approval of the agenda. Do we have any additions or deletions to the proposed agenda as presented? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
Motion by President Pro Tem Stoeffler, supported by Councilmember Snyder to approve the consent agenda, or to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes by all council members present. Communications, I'm not going to read the entire 3.5 pages, but Chief Willis sent us a memo from Detective Isaacson outlining all the improvements and things he has been involved with over the last year, over the last 6 months, cleaning up several bat cases that had high profile, and either getting them successfully people in jail or sent to the prosecutor's office where the prosecutor made the determination it could be prosecuted, and a bunch of other improvements in our operations within the police department and from an investigatory standpoint. Did anybody on council want to add anything else to that? The other communication we had was from a village resident. Her name is, Erica Lyko. And I'm gonna read this verbatim just so, So, you know, as soon as I got it, I forwarded it to our manager, and everybody on council also received a memo of the letter. So the letter is, Dear Village of Almont officials, I'm writing again regarding the lack of accessible parking at privately owned multi-use lot that provides access to my USPS post office box and neighboring businesses in downtown Almont. Despite previous attempts or complaints and attempts to resolve the issue through USPS and other agencies, there is currently 0 designated handicap accessible parking spaces available in this lot. This creates significant accessibility barrier to individuals with disabilities attempting to safely access postal services and surrounding businesses. Because this parking lot serves business and services open to the public, I'm requesting that the village review whether the property is compliant with applicable ADA accessibility requirements, local zoning ordinances, site plan approval, and occupancy requirements related to accessible parking. I respectfully request the following: an investigation into the property's compliance status, clarification regarding whether accessible parking spaces were required as part of the site approval or occupancy process, assistance in bringing the property into compliance through the addition of properly marked ADA accessible spaces. I've previously attempted to address this issue through USPS without resolution. At this point, I'm asking the village to formally review and address the accessibility concerns affecting access to the essential public services. Thank you for your time and attention to this matter. I would appreciate a written response regarding any actions being taken or the appropriate steps. Sincerely, Erica Waco. Did I pronounce that your last name correctly?
Yes.
So I think we've had a couple of issues with that parking lot. We've got an ongoing survey, and that would make some determinations on future steps. Have we completed that survey, or are we still waiting for results of that survey?
Mr. President, the survey has been physically done, but the drawings, the map, et cetera, has not been returned or provided us yet.
And that would be the information we would need to do to take any further action on that part of it. And I think it would make sense to make a determination on that, and then at the same time address these concerns in tandem to see if some of the concerns listed here are met from a council administrative standpoint or need to go back to planning commission to be addressed through review of the site plan. And because it's been noted over the last couple of years, the configuration of that parking lot has been modified a couple of times, and we as the council are unaware if the site plan has been what would be the proper word?
Well, if any modifications
Any
required,
modification were made to it, so they would be in resulting in a negative effect on the site plan. So I think those would be the proper steps to take. So once we get the survey back, if we could get that put into open discussion to start addressing it from that standpoint and address both points at the same time, I think that'd be the proper way to go. Does anybody on council disagree with that at all? So we had a survey done of that parking lot. That survey, the results have not been completed yet. So the survey was done. We're waiting for the results to come back from the surveyor. That's why it's not been.
the surveyor has been to the property. He has stated he's gotten the outlines of it. It takes time for them to draft the physical documentation of it and deliver it. So we're waiting for the surveyor to do what we paid him to do, give us the written survey. Then we can go over it, and we can also at the same time have a discussion as to the many issues that have been raised about that. If there is site plan issues, if there are other things, that's not in our purview, that's under planning commission. So we'll send it to planning commission. But it doesn't make sense to start to tackle that part of that problem of that parking lot without also addressing the other parts, including the lot lines and everything else. So collectively deal with it as a whole rather than trying to have two different portions of village bodies.
A survey to be returned, is it 6 months, a year? 3
Oh,
years?
good,
I
no.
need a timeline here.
No, so from the moment that you order a survey, It can be anywhere from, 2 weeks to a month. They've already completed that portion. So, I mean, I would expect we should have a written survey within the next week would be the expectation. It could be 2 weeks,
So I
but
can follow up in 2 weeks and confirm that that has been received.
you're welcome to follow up whenever you like. I can't guarantee when a private company provides it. I would have-
Surveys done in my home and they've done them for the next, within a day. And I work with a landscape architecture company that can do surveys in CAD. They can produce those things within days. So having a timeline, I think, is important.
I don't disagree with you at all. This is not an adversarial process. We've ordered the surveys. We order surveys all the time in my line of work as well, and sometimes they're fast, sometimes they're not. I get frustrated waiting for them too. I've personally been asking to see the results of this survey for weeks now, so I want to see it just as badly as you do. I'm just not going to give you any false promises on a timeline I can't deliver on. I'm waiting to receive it just like you are.
I just want to confirm that it will be done.
It will be done.
It will be done, and as soon as it's done, we will put it under open discussion on an agenda. It will be discussed, and then we will look at all the points that need to be taken and then take the proper steps that need to be taken from there, then what we can do and what we can't do. But it doesn't make sense to tackle one section of it if that section changes.
Sure, the parking is, that's cool.
So that's all we have for communications. Approval of the consent agenda. Regular meeting minutes, May 19th and 28th. So regular meeting minutes for May 19th.
There's a few corrections for sure. Page 1, guests present, says Rich Dodge, that is Rick Dodge. Under communications, second line of number 1, it is to the following police departments, not police department, it was plural. Next, 2 lines down from that, Almont Police Department, it's Sergeant Kevin Kowalik. We're missing the V in Kevin. Then on the following page, under public comment, agenda items, again, it's referred to as Rich Dodge, it's Rick Dodge. On the following page after that, under number 2, Miller Canfield engagement letter, it was Councilmember Schneider that moved and Councilmember Miller that seconded. Following page after that, under public comment, non-agenda items, Rick Dodge, Almont Township Trustee, not Pentwater Township Trustee. Following page after that, under dangerous buildings, that bullet point, it is the 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth line down. It says demolition of the Villages Legion Hall. It's not the Villages, it's the DDA's Legion Hall. And the next, let's see, 3 lines down after that, the sentence begins with clarified that council's prior understanding. It's close. It's just it's kind of backwards. It should start with Manager Curbison corrected council's prior misunderstanding that there is no objection to the village's demolition of its own property, not the owner's building. It's kind of phrased right now backwards from what the misunderstanding was. And then under Councilmember Schneider's comment, President Pro Tem Steffler's comments appear twice, basically. It's repeated again from the above. So if we could strike this second time saying it. And then in the final on President Dykes, it says issue with the roots on trees. Can you help with that? You were referring to the bricks on Roots building, was that
Yeah,
correct?
yes.
Right, so it's the issue with the bricks on Roots restaurant in the downtown area, not the Roots on
In the
trees.
front and the condition of the steps in the rear.
And I believe that's all the corrections I had.
I had one suggestion for page 1, guest present. It reads members of Welch family and now Rick Dodge. It just makes it
Separate.
seem like it's both the families, so I would just maybe move Rick's down to the next line. And I think there were family members or friends of the officers and other personnel recognized as well that were in attendance, so we may want to add that.
And in fact, there was numerous Almont Township trustees. Rick is only mentioned because he's the owner that spoke.
Yes.
Right.
So however we want to manage it, there were just a number of people here, so we just want to recognize that.
I apologize. I can tell you right now that is the unedited version that got placed in the packet while I wasn't here. That's not the one that was corrected. So that many of these things had been corrected, so I'm going to have to be better at the oversight of what goes into the packet that goes on the documents on demand. So, and how those are deleted away. I apologize.
Anybody else on minutes? Meeting minutes for the budget workshop, May 28, 2026.
Do you have any? Go ahead first, because I have not fully read those ones yet. They weren't in the earlier packet. Yeah, well, okay. I guess there's not a lot.
No, they were simple.
Yeah. I don't think I have any corrections for that. I don't know that we got out of here at exactly 10 p.m., but I can live with it.
I did not write down what time it was, and there was no recording, so I had
It
to,
was,
I knew what time I got home.
Close enough is right. I
Yeah.
don't disagree.
as I recall.
General fund. Major street fund. Local street fund. Park and Recreation Fund. Downtown Development Authority Fund. Capital Project, St. Clair Street Fund. Sewer Fund. Water Fund. Equipment Fund. Payroll Register Report. If nobody has any further comments or questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Support.
Motion by motion by Councilmember Schneider, supported by Councilmember Miller to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes by all council members present. Now is the time for public comment for any agenda item. Do we have any public comment on any agenda item tonight? Being none, agenda item number 1, application to appointment of the Remuneration Committee. We have 4 candidates. We have 4 candidates and we have 2 applications, and 2 candidates that we don't have applications. And one of the candidates that doesn't have an application is here tonight. And it's going to be my recommendation. Sorry, Nate, that you showed up, but it's going to be my recommendation until we get applications from the other 2 that we table those 2 and address the 2 that have applications tonight.
The new packet today had the 5 applications. One of them that is not in the application form was the one from Mr. Steve Schneider Senior that he did in a letter form to Kim in November. Everybody else was on an application.
So the updated one you sent tonight has?
Yes, it has the other one that came in when I was gone. It came in yesterday, so we updated that whole packet this afternoon.
Unfortunately, that's the
Apologize.
same reason we adjourned it from the last one, is because we were getting applications at the last moment without a chance to review them. I'm not saying that we need to.
Well, I know this one I've been out ill, so I apologize. I
No,
came
and
in
I'm
today,
not-
so,
It's nothing against you, Randy.
Okay.
I'm just mentioning, like,
right.
it seems unfair to me to say we were not going to do it last time because we didn't have a chance to review it,
Mhm.
and then again we're in the same position again. It's not a reflection on you. It's just I just like the rules to be consistent.
That's fine.
It's fair to everyone.
I can reach out to Mr. Steve Schneider tomorrow and let him know that they'd like an application format.
He was informed today.
Okay. I don't think he probably was ever informed. Kim had a folder that I found that had the two originals.
He wasn't.
So-
That's correct. But I
so-
made him aware today that if he is still interested, he needs to fill out the formal application and submit it just like he has for any board appointment that he
Okay.
has sought, like the DDA and everything else. So it's our standard form.
So we do have 5 applicants, but only 3, or was it 3 or 4 that have the formal application?
4 are on the formal application.
We should be able to address.
I see 3 formal applications, and 2 emails.
So, Robert.
Did you load the new one?
I think so.
Let me
Two.
load the one.
I'm sorry, I have the printed version that she gave me and I had that all corrected, so.
Yeah, 3.
If I may,
Paul, Stephen, and Mike, those are the 3 applications that we have. Don't have one for Nate, and don't have one for Steve Senior.
if I may, Nate, did you turn in a formal application or is it the email?
And that's, again, not your fault. It was, I know that Clerk Treasurer Kiesler started by sending an email to Planning Commission members seeking who would be willing, and so got 2 answers from 2 Planning Commission members. Those are these now stale emails. They were never asked to fill out an application at that time, so no applications were ever submitted from those 2. You seeking other people requesting they specifically fill out an application, got applications. So it's just a little unclear communication style for how we did this over the course of more than that, because one of them was in November of last year, so more like 8 months, 9 months. It's been a while.
Three applications and 1 non-application. How does council want to proceed?
I'm willing to address the 3 that we have now, and we add any future applications that come in on the agenda as well.
So translation, we deal with the 3 tonight and have Nate submit his application and deal with it at the next meeting.
Nate, as well as anyone else who is interested, just, again, rules. Make them submit an application so it's fair to everyone. Don't let anybody not do it and make someone else do it.
We apologize for the miscommunication, Nate.
I would say, since we have Mr. Keller here tonight, even though that we don't have a formal application, he did express an email of intent. I think we can listen if he has anything to present tonight, and we can make
Sure. I'm not saying he can't.
no action on it, but at least since.
Agreed.
I
Not
totally
make
agree
me
with
come
that
back
too.
again.
I
Exactly.
totally agree with that too. Again, I'm just saying that I don't feel like it's fair to vote on it until we've got the paper in the file that we require from everyone. But if Nate wants to speak tonight, I'm all ears for that.
Okay, first application is, I'm going to butcher this last name again, Robert Napke?
Napke.
Napke? Anybody on council have questions about?
Here with Mr. Napke, I know that when the eBay business was on Main Street years ago, that was one of his property locations, and I know one of the industrial businesses that he had owned a little further south on the southern corridor in Van Dyke in the township as well. And if he's willing to serve on this committee that we can't seem to staff up, I don't have any issues with it.
Is it a formal motion?
I will make the motion that we appoint Mr. Robert Napke to the Remuneration Committee.
Motion by Councilmember Snyder, supported by President Pro Tem Stepler to appoint Robert Napke to the Remuneration Committee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Application for Mr. Paul Simmons. Is Mr. Simmons present tonight?
Is not.
Okay.
Stephen Kuntz, in my packet. That's fine. Well, Mr. Simmons,
This is someone that you know?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I don't want to make the motion.
Right, but you know of this.
I do know this person.
he says he would like to be more involved in the community. This is a good start. It's a great way to give back. I will make the motion that we appoint Mr. Paul Simmons to the Remuneration Committee.
Motion by Councilmember Schneider, supported by President Pro Tem Stepler to appoint Mr. Paul Simmons to the Remuneration Committee. I'm just butchering that, sorry. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. The motion passes. The third candidate is Stephen Kuntz.
Well, his name is Steven. I'm sold, so.
I guess my only question is he's listed his work address in Florida. Is he,
He works remote.
okay.
That's just where the corporate offices are.
This is also someone you know. All right, thank you, Bob. You gonna make your motion?
I will make the motion that we appoint Stephen Kuntz to the Remuneration Committee.
Motion by Councilmember Schneider, supported by President Pro Tem Stepler to appoint Mr. Stephen Kuntz to the Remuneration Committee. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes by all council members present. Mr. Keller, would you like to make a presentation to council and then come back next time?
Oh, so thank you for still seeing me, even without my application. I don't know what was on the application, but I can take any questions. I'll just start off by saying I believe in serving my community. I believe that to have equal representation, there should be some people from every generation. And unfortunately, it's always seems to be dominated by, the older generation who is always has more time for it and whatnot. So I'm planning to make more time for being in serving the community this way. And so, yeah, the opportunity came up, and I just I had no reason to say no. So I said yes. So yeah, that's really all I have to say. Just yeah, I believe in serving the community. So.
And for those that aren't, for those that are not aware, and I echo your younger generation, because between Mr. Powell serving on council with his excellent performance as a councilman, and if no one's aware of it, Mr. Keller is on our planning commission, and he has been very well received in some of his perspectives on the planning commission that give the older generation some food for thought on what his generation thinks and wants in town. And I think both of those members, being of the younger set, have been very valuable to this community, and I appreciate both of you for that.
For the kind words.
Would it be appropriate to nominate Mr. Keller and Mr. Schneider to the remuneration committee pending their formal application based on their emails, what
No.
they have presented in their emails?
No.
It's a very small box to check. Check the box.
All right.
Then we go away.
Just trying to simplify the process a little bit.
Which
If I could.
I genuinely greatly appreciate. I just don't feel like it's fair that for all of these different boards, we say, it's a simple application, fill it out,
I get it.
we'll address it.
That concludes our regular agenda items. Now is the time for public comment for any non-agenda item. Does anybody want to speak tonight? Public comment for any non-agenda items. Please come to the podium and state your name and residence.
My name's Tom Paclinius. I live on Rome Court. And this is, I'm so fed up with it all. I'm just going to make a joke about it. I want to rename it to Junkyard Court. Because my neighbor has a junkyard in his yard. I've written many emails. Nothing gets done. He has 6 cars, 2 drivers. He has a camper in the backyard that is about at least the length of this. He had a car parked in the court for 6 months because he towed it here. He had a car, he has 2 trucks that haven't moved in a year. He had a car in front of that. He moved that car and towed another one, another truck. It sat across in the court for 6 months. The police did put something on it, so he moved it to the backyard. Did he drive it back there? It was done Memorial Day, so since the chain is still on it, I doubt it started. He has a boat in his yard, or in his driveway too.
Is that the one that blocks the sidewalk?
Pardon me?
Is that the boat that blocks the sidewalk?
No, his trucks block the sidewalk. His boat, he's had 2 or 3 boats could keep running the motor out. Like I said, you can come in my yard, 272, I live right next door, if you want to look and see what's in his backyard. It is a junkyard. I've written, and the car did get moved. It didn't do any good because he just towed another one in the court, and now it's in his backyard.
We can have the address for the record.
280 Rome Court. You know what? You drive down Rome Court, you can't miss it, believe me. Unless you're driving blind, because it is, out of all the houses in that subdivision, his is by far the one you notice.
Okay, well, we'll have the OEO take a look.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Erica Lyko, here to talk about accessibility in the village and the fact that it's not being treated with urgency or importance that it deserves. This issue began with accessibility to my post office box, as you're aware, where the privately owned parking area serving the boxes has no designated handicap parking spaces. And as a disabled resident, this is not simply an abstract policy. This directly affects my ability to safely and independently access a federal service in my community. So for residents with mobility limitations, accessible parking is not a convenience. It's a necessity. The Americans with Disabilities Act exists to ensure equal access for disabled individuals, and accessible parking is one of the most basic parts of this obligation. When these spaces don't exist, people are effectively being excluded, and they should be able to access these spaces safely. But this concern extends beyond one parking lot. As I've looked around downtown Elma, as I've lived here since 2007, I've noticed a broader lack of accessible parking and accessibility planning overall. This affects not only residents with disabilities, but also seniors, veterans, people recovering from any type of surgery or illness, and a visitor trying to support a local business safely. Over the past several weeks, I've reached out, I've written letters, I filed complaints, made police reports, tried to follow the proper channels. Because I really do want solutions in my community, and I want collaboration in addition to cooperation. But what has been super discouraging to me is not just the lack of progress, but the feeling that these concerns have not been taken seriously. So as an individual resident trying to advocate for accessibility, I have felt dismissed, delayed, and unheard, despite repeated attempts to work through the proper channels. It should not require influence or connections or repeated public pressure for accessibility concerns to receive attention. Accessibility is not a favor. It's not an option. It's part of creating a community where residents can actually participate equally and safely. I understand that some of these parking areas may involve private property owners, but the village still has a responsibility to lead these conversations and encourage compliance, prioritizing accessibility within the community as a whole. Ignoring this issue because ownership is complicated does not change the fact that residents are being impacted. I'm asking the village to take a proactive approach by reviewing all accessible parking within the village and the village limits. They should be working with your property owners, create a clear plan that is posted to improve ADA accessibility when someone or before someone is injured, and further, like myself, excluded. This is not about special treatment. This is not about asking a favor. This is about equal access, basic dignity, and accountability. Residents deserve better than silence, which is what I've gotten. Inaction is what I've only assumed. These are legitimate accessibility concerns. I really hope that this board chooses to take these concerns very seriously and demonstrate through action, not just words, that accessibility actually matters in the village. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment tonight? Time for open discussion, the park board camera policy. Mr. Kirkson.
Mr. President, in your packet is the revised version of the park board policy. After it was reviewed, our attorney generated policy. It was reviewed and redlined and blue lined, and it's coming back to the council for your comments.
So this was before us previously, and sent to our attorney, and this is the attorney's responses, correct?
Yeah, and again, so for clarification, so we can tell who's who here, just to make some sense of it. Because, so I do believe our attorney did first draft, and then let me make sure I don't say it wrong, because the colors have changed from the way I saw it last. I want to say it backwards, right. Certain, give me one moment, because I'm going to tell you who's blue and who's red, and I just don't want to say it backwards. Right, the blue lines were my revisions to the very first draft, which this board has already seen. We didn't have an issue with it, and we said because I made modifications, we all agreed, send it back to the attorney again to see if there's any issues with it. So the red lines you see are his mostly grammatical. It's not really any major substantive changes, but mostly grammatical changes to those. So essentially, third draft is the best way to put it. And I don't have any issues with the modifications. There's nothing specific I would point out. I don't have any issues with it. If there's any questions, do my best to try to respond. But I mean, I think for the most part, these modifications speak for themselves.
And just for some background is that from the park board, there was discussion and agreement that a policy would be needed.
Mhm.
So as I read through this, it seems very straightforward. I didn't see anything concerning. I can't speak for the entire board, of course, but this is what we asked for, is for guidance on how camera footage should be used, and for what purpose. So I think that outlines this very nicely.
And how it's housed, and how you have to report, and how long it's stored, and who can have access, and what they can use it for. I mean, it tries to make it spelled out very clearly, not only for the village, but for park board members and for law enforcement, for anyone who's going to have access. It pretty clearly spells out the rules.
So these revisions were sent out. Yep, Mr. Kirkson.
I'm just going to say that if this is, no corrections or changes are made, we will adopt the revisions for the next meeting, and you do a first reading of this policy. Then you adopt it at the following meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
You don't
Uh,
have to do a
it's
first
It's
reading?
a policy.
But
Yeah.
because it's just a policy. It's not it's not an ordinance. We don't have to do first reading, second reading. This is already our second reading of it anyways. And if we just won't vote on it under open discussion.
Right.
If nobody has any other issues, we're not asking for any other revisions or have any other discussion on it, then it can be a regular agenda item where we can vote.
And we do have a park board meeting on Thursday. I can add this to our agenda packet to see if there's any comments or questions to bring back for when we vote on it.
Would you like a clean version of that? So that it doesn't have the numerous red lines that might be hard
The
to follow?
final version is all that is necessary.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I can just accept all changes so that way you have a clean black line version that does not have numerous now non-existent drafts.
So we do have that in the packet.
Oh, okay. If you've got, yeah, right. I'm looking at the red line one right now. I was gonna say, just if it's your first time reading it, it makes it more difficult.
No, I would just bring the final draft version.
Yes. Yep, that's all I was referring to.
Yeah, I don't anticipate that there will be substantial comments or questions about this.
Anybody else on council have any questions or concerns with the presented changes or revisions? Is everybody in council comfortable with moving this to the agenda next time for approval? Do we have a consensus on that?
I agree.
Consensus here.
That concludes open discussion. Andrew Kerberson, do you have anything to bring council tonight?
Oh, yes. I've got several items I want to touch base on, but to jump in, I'll start just to give you a little background on Rome Court, since that gentleman brought it up this evening. We ended up citing and having to go all the way through to get a court judgment to remove the vehicle that was the car in the driveway at the house we're talking about. We had very much hoped that that would send a message that we're not messing around, but we were completely ignored, and then it even became worse. I know the police have paid attention to vehicles being left in the roadway, but the two trucks that the gentleman mentioned that are, I think they're front to front in the driveway, taking up one half of the driveway, they have not moved in a year. They have been cited. They've been ticketed. We had a court appearance. It takes quite a while to get into courts on some issues, as some in the room can attest. We ended up having to adjourn our hearing for the two trucks because the OEO was having surgery that day, knee replacement. But in August, those trucks will go in front of the magistrate and we should be approved to remove them. We will do so immediately. Last time we gave a grace period before we took the car away, and they literally removed it the day before the towing company was coming. So we have a keen eye on this particular property. Each step takes time because, again, it has to go all the way through a court order. I spoke to the owners of the home last month, just before the court hearing, and said, you know, the owners of the home are not the people that live in it. They may be now, but at that time they were living in Arizona. So the effort will be, again, to push clearing up the entire property. The thing that we can't do is certain items are not considered or listed in our two various ordinances, our blight angle or our, the property maintenance code. They're not covered in there, so we can't ticket up the boat as an example. So we couldn't put that on the list to pursue moving it, you know, and so on. So we will continue to pursue the vehicles. It is an eyesore. I made that very clear. There's no reason any of the neighbors should have to look at this, but in fact they are. So we're going to continue to take it to the nth degree, and we'll remove each vehicle. They'll go into impound and then be sold, if not cleared up or moved on their own. It will get very expensive, and each penny will be placed on the taxes for collection so that the taxpayers don't have to pay for all this enforcement and legal activity we have to go through to clean up that site.
But the backyard situation, under our ordinance, we're doing anything we can do to.
All of that will be monitored.
Okay.
So, absolutely.
I have a question for what you said. The owner is in Arizona?
It's up to the chairman to recognize
Oh,
you.
sorry.
But yes, so when I spoke to the property owner who called me about the case, they were in Arizona and had been for, an extended period of time.
Those are his parents.
Right.
Because they bought it when he went to jail. They,
So-
they were foreclosure, so they picked it up, so
Okay,
he's.
sir, public comments over.
Sorry.
That's okay.
So
If you want to have a private discussion with him after, that's fine, but not during the meeting.
it's being focused on, and we will continue to focus, and enforcement level is being stepped up and more aggressive as we have to move forward, so. But it's a good one, and it's one I look at on a regular basis, not as often as you, but I do definitely check it out. So I'll jump back to my list. Our new police car should be here this week. It's finished being outfitted, and that will bring our equipment right up to the everything being in excellent shape, and be a couple of years before I think we need a new vehicle. We have been updating our ordinances. I received a request from the Michigan Association of Planners that they wanted to do a synopsis of all ordinances inside Lapeer County. They're doing it county by county. And they wondered if ours were, current and when they were last reviewed, and if they had been reviewed for ADA accessibility issues. We sent it off to our planner to double check. She updated there hadn't been an update to the ordinance online or our documents in 3 years. We had the updates, language changes in the book, but nothing recorded and available. So that got updated, and then the review for accessibility, it's an issue that has been pushed through by the state of Michigan. She did that review and everything cleared. So it went on to the Michigan Association of Planners today, and they will be publishing it along with all the others in the county, and they will give us a link to look at it if we'd like down the road. I got a very interesting call from a company saying they were representing our cell tower, the one we leased the property to by the wastewater treatment plant. Kim and I had focused on that cell tower last fall, pulled the contracts. I was looking at it because they had stopped making their monthly payment for their rent. There was a statement, long story short, they had lost their renter, so they said they didn't have to pay rent if they didn't have their renter. Again, in the stack of to-dos was that item. I kicked this over to ask our current law firm, which is quite extensive, for an expert in cell tower leases. Gave them a package. They have since reviewed it. Our original lease, our updates, there's been some revisions over the years, and we are moving forward with drafting a letter outlining that we believe they do owe the rent, and they will be petitioned to court to satisfy it if they don't, in fact, come to the table and make things whole.
The
So,
default and demand letter? It's a default and demand letter.
Yes.
They're in default of the lease. It's
We're,
a demand to cure it, or we take action on the lease. Right. Okay.
So we're at that point now. He finished reviewing it, gave me some maps and different things. And I said, well, we got to take it to the next level. Let's keep it going. And of course, we will ask for all of our costs related to pursuing this issue. I will begin police officer contract negotiations next week. As you know, it would have been inappropriate and doing it too early, I can't think of the word, to try and negotiate the contract before we knew
Premature.
what was going to happen with, what?
Immature.
Premature, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you. To negotiate their contract before we knew the size of what our force was going to need to be for our service area. So we're getting together next week to begin the negotiating process. The chief will be working with me on that, and I think it'll go pretty smooth. But wanted you to know, it's kicking off. We have our financial analyst in regard to the bond that we talked about at the last council meeting. He called me today to let me know he's prepared to go over the options with me. But he said, things are excellent and we will have some options on how we would like to move forward once we tack down the actual numbers of what we'd like to finance. The property purchase agreement for DPW, for the DPW lot has been drafted. It's been redlined by the seller's attorney. We are reviewing it now, and we will be getting back with them with our changes to their changes. And we're going to end up requesting an appraisal on the property so that we can properly show the value related to the gift side of our agreement. So that, again, is moving forward. We are having the the training that was planned quite a while ago, the sexual harassment training for all staff will be this week. It's a mandatory meeting. Everyone will be there except our police officers because they've been through it several times. But we will have 100% of the employees here and doing that training this week. And it is being put on by the law firm of Bodman. They helped us with some research. They updated our ordinances and our personnel policy manual, and they are conducting the training. I don't know if I mentioned this at the last meeting or not, but we do have a signed agreement with Kingsbrook for a year for payment of their water. It is a monthly payment process instead of a quarterly, so that they are always paid by the time the bill is coming due. So, the chief updated me today on the items that are left to be done on his building this fiscal year. The bollards, the gentleman that is going to install the bollards has been recontacted now that the parking lot is finished. We are planning we took bids for power washing the buildings and washing the windows, and we are ready to get everything done by the end of this month so that things are up to snuff. We are going to confirm 2 officers in the drone training class. They will be Zuck and Hodakowski. And we are placing the order for the tasers. If it wasn't done today, it will be done immediately. And then the last thing with the department, both buildings, we have need for a wall. There's an issue related to access by the First Amendment, so we will be installing a wall at the police department at the desk, at the front desk, so the public cannot just pass beyond it. And there'll be some work done here.
Closing off reception from the remainder
Yes.
of the building, making it secured access only.
So, lots going on, and there's one last thing. I just want to float this out there because I don't know where to go. It's the next meeting that we will be discussing it. But the homecoming committee chairman has contested our ordinance related to fireworks, that they are in fact not for non-commercial fireworks. So if someone wants to put on a non-commercial fireworks show, they wouldn't need to follow our ordinance. However, at the same time, he has assured me that they are providing those things that they will provide at our next meeting, those things we have asked for to give them permission for their event.
Absent anything related to the requirements associated with commercial fireworks operations.
The entire ordinance isn't out the window, right?
I will say that on a cursory review of it, because I'm not super familiar with that ordinance, but I did notice that it does continuously refer to commercial fireworks shows. And I'm guessing, because I wasn't on council at the time, the intention was, this wasn't to stop somebody from using a sparkler in their driveway, and it did, therefore those qualifications didn't apply, those requirements didn't apply. So it was referred to as commercial grade fireworks, and in order to do that, you have to have all these other things. So they're saying, well, then if it's not commercial grade fireworks, then this doesn't apply. I understand the argument. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm not saying his interpretation of our ordinance is correct. I do know that the commercial grade fireworks is consistently repeated throughout the ordinance. We need to review it more closely, all of us, to see if we feel as though there is no application of what they're doing to this, because also just saying it's not commercial grade fireworks is not equivalent of this ordinance doesn't apply, because then what fireworks are they? I mean, if we're going to get into a determination of whether or not this even applies, because you don't want to comply with what the ordinance requires, I guess we're going to have to find out if it's really exempt by you telling us exactly what fireworks you're using then.
Yeah, there's still provisions of the ordinance that apply to consumer fireworks, such as when you can set them off and where and whose permissions you need. It's not that you're exempt from this ordinance if you have consumer fireworks versus
Right.
commercial fireworks.
And I don't know that we need to split hairs here. I think we're not trying to stop them from doing it. We're just trying to make sure that they comply with the ordinance as written.
It's a matter of public
And it's
safety.
And it's safe. And
Correct.
as I say,
Absolutely.
it appears that all of those items are going to be met, as they are also being required by the township, whose property they're doing the event on. So I just thought I'd put that out there because the argument made some sense in the fact that if you all went and each bought one firework and then showed up and did them there, in some ways, what is the difference? So I just wanted you to be aware of it and the fact that it will likely come up at our next council meeting. And let's see, that's it. Any questions?
Thank you for the thorough update. Clerk Treasurer Listerman, do you have anything for council?
I do not.
Councilmember Schneider.
Couple. We are coming up on nearly a year since our purchase of Steve Francis parking lot. What is the status of our parking lot agreement with the DDA? We requested a use and maintenance agreement with the DDA. It's one of the things we've promised we would provide them. They've brought it up numerous times. We need to provide a use and maintenance agreement to them because we want them to be the ones caring for it. They're willing to do so. They want unfettered access in exchange for the use. So we need that use and maintenance agreement. The other thing I wanted to make mention of, and I'm glad you brought it up again because it reminds me, we previously, when I was on council in my first term, I know we had an officer who had his own drone and his own certification and training, and we had thorough discussion, planning over how our police department would be able to use drones. There were First Amendment concerns, there's privacy concerns, there's FAA regulation concerns. If we have two officers who are trained in getting drones, I think before those drones are deployed in our department, we should sure be looking at, I don't recall if we ever ended up actually passing an ordinance or a policy on it because that officer left the department and took a full-time position in a fire department in another community.
I can't remember if we if we considered it and we're working on it, then
I-
he left,
I-
which
I-
I think is what happened, but I think we do need to.
And think, well,
I know
do
there was
remember it went
discussion
on for a
on
while.
it, but I don't remember taking action.
I remember
Because I think
Councilmember
we-
Love having an awful lot
Yeah.
to say about it.
Yes.
And we went over it for a long time. I don't believe we completed it. I think we didn't. If we did,
If
I'm
we
not
did,
certain.
it's possible that it's out of date already.
What I was gonna say is, we should be looking at where we left off, number one. Number two, I am certain that not only the law, but also technology has changed significantly since then. So I'm not comfortable with us deploying those out in the field without us having a policy in place of what we think is appropriate first, so.
Well, I assume that's part of what this training is to cover.
Certainly, I'm sure that
Realities of it.
I would love, when we put it under open discussion, to have at least one of our officers who's been newly trained on it present to share what they know, what they've just learned. They'll be more experts on this topic than we will be at that point, but we have other concerns. Their concerns is obviously how they can use them in the field and enforcement, and our concerns are.
In the meantime, we might want to have either Manager Kerberson or Chief Willis check with some other departments to see if they utilize it and have a policy that we could.
I know, like, we have a drone operator, I have to approve his flight plan before he's allowed to, do a flight, with drones, and it's under the provisions of the statewide policy that we have in place. So, I've also worked with fire departments, when I've asked them to respond to pollution emergencies. They deploy them in those instances, and it saves us a lot of time and man hours in doing so. So they can be very, very useful in all sorts of capacities, but I think you're right, under, some parameters.
Right. There's lots of ways that I support it, lots of ways that it'd be incredibly useful. I know we had previously used it, when we have, incapacitated individuals, elderly, missing children, searching for them through the woods, that we were able to locate, different things like that. Fantastic. There's also departments in neighboring counties who've been asked to add flock cameras to their drones, and that was a major issue. I'm in no way ever going to support that. That's not something we need to have some safeguards in place before those drones are deployed in the field, is my honest opinion. What are we planning to use it for? How? What are the rules? There's plenty of things that I think are perfectly acceptable, and there's going to be some things that aren't. We need to update our policy, if we even have one that we completed. It's just, when you brought up that we were doing that, that's fantastic. I like the idea, but let's set some ground rules. So I think that's the important thing. That's all I have for tonight.
President Pro Tem Stefan.
Just quickly want to remind everyone that we do have a rescheduled park board meeting this Thursday at 5 p.m.
Councilmember Powell.
Yeah, just a couple things. First thing, I just wanted to reiterate what I said at the previous budget meeting, that I'd still like to see the 10-year capital improvement plan for sewer and water infrastructure and the proposed rate increases for those funds before we vote on any potential rate increases. And then the other thing, I just wanted to address the comments presented by Ms. Loico. I'm sorry if I mispronounce it. I wanted to thank you for coming tonight. ADA and accessible and accommodating people is important to me and also personal to me. So I have food allergies, and I'm all about accommodating people with special needs, and I want Elmont to be an inclusive community. So I received the forwarded email yesterday, and I just looked around Elmont of what handicap places we have. I counted, Speedway has one, the Lions Club, 2 at the park, 1 behind the physical therapy place, 1 at Roots, 2 at Senior Victor's, at least 1 at Dollar General, there's 1 at the bakery. And I probably missed a bunch. It's not supposed to be a comprehensive list. So I think Elmont at least has a good start. Like, we do have handicap spots. And I'm not saying that to discount your frustration with the post office lot specifically. But I think council, now that you brought it to our attention, I think we should review like the updated ADA standards and go through like all the lots in the community and see what the rules are for how many, because I just did a quick search,
Should be
like,
one handicap space per block on the main street.
okay, so, yeah, so let's,
So
I-
if you're trying to visit a business on Main Street, and you're handicapped, you can't. It's good.
There's limitations to the reality that one, our ordinance,
It should be also a safe corridor to access those handicap spaces.
I'm not going to debate with you. I'm just going to answer some facts because I don't disagree with your opinions. You also
These are
have to,
minutes.
I also have to lay out some facts of our own as well, which is simply that our ordinance says shall comply with the state law. The state law that it is referring to is also a regurgitation of ADA. And that requires a parking space, at least one handicap parking space in every lot with a minimum of 25 spaces. So for example, on the very lot that you are bringing up, it is not required under the law, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be taking a look at it. And the only other point that I want to make is that MDOT controls Van Dyke. It's not within our power to control what happens on Van Dyke because MDOT controls it. We literally don't have the power to control what happens on Van Dyke. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't be pushing to try to do better in every capacity that we can. There are going to be some legal barriers to what we are allowed to enforce or do. That doesn't mean we can't encourage, that we can't ask, that we can't try to push towards betterment to those situations. Just there are some limitations to what we are allowed to do. That's all I wanted to clarify.
What I think Stephen proposed is a good start for us.
yeah, I'm just saying, I'm not very familiar with like the ordinances and the laws regarding ADA accessibility. So I think, if, you know, when it's appropriate, we should bring that in front of council when we have all the information. So, that's all I had.
In a timely fashion.
Yes, in a timely fashion.
Councilmember Miller.
Well, being the last one, everything that I was already going to say has already been said. And other than I'd like to thank everyone for being here and all of your comments that you've made tonight. We appreciate it. Thank you. That's all.
Yeah, thank you everybody for being here. We will take both the Rome Court and the ADA considerations seriously in a timely fashion, and we are adjourned.
That our clock is off now. This one's right. It hasn't moved.
Yeah.
It's 6:30 or 7.
Nate, have you shut down anyway? I don't care. Have you made application to run?
Sure.
Did you get all the paperwork?
Yes.
Are you going to run?
Yes. So
Is this guy pushing you everything?
No,
they're not online. You should wait for them to be approved and then my
Simple
staff gets
question.
them online. And there are 3 of us and we are behind a little bit right now so that we haven't updated, I think, really there.
Let me ask you a question.
So, and when you, yes, we're working on, they use additional software called Document Identity, and I believe I'm just. It's not what software company likes us to see, and I did not realize for the last 4 months that I was here. It's got a firewall. Because I want to see financial reports and our like monthly reports. I want to see that as well. And that was something that just came to light like about a week ago. Because my staff member, password to it, no idea. So I see there's been big confusion. What is it? At 3 o'clock. Went up at 7. I got always met over my entire body cavity when I went to the office for a few days. So, I got a reaction to it, I've never had it before. So anyways, no excuses, we want to get that together for you, so. Let me turn this off.
I actually should have.